Good morning on this Thursday morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is the Take for Market Rebellion. And when we look back to yesterday, we looked at private payroll. That was going to be affecting the markets. It certainly did. The numbers were certainly off of what they were expecting. And we were under pressure right out of the gate. We were down 100 points. We were down 200 points. We're down 300 points. We actually closed on the lows of the day down 323 points on the Dow. Nasdaq, that's a different beast. That's a different beast entirely. It was choppy all day, kind of up and down, maybe 20, 30 points. Finished the day up about 20 points on the Nasdaq, and it was just kind of hovering in a very, what felt like a very tight range yesterday. So what were some of the inside moves that we were seeing yesterday? Well, crude down 3.5%. That certainly was a big portion of what we were looking at. The 10-year was struggling a little bit. We're just not able to get up and over that 1.2, although maybe we are today. Semiconductors did have a pretty good day. Technology, not as great a day, but semiconductors had a day about 1% to the upside, but it was energy dragging, it was industrials dragging, both down significantly, and that was really pulling along with it in the energy. We talk about those beta energy names to the upside and the downside, how they're going to move. Well, they were definitely moving pretty sharply yesterday to the downside. But Bitcoin's been in I'd call it a decent range now for a little while. 38,000 to 40,000 yesterday, a little closer to 40,000. We had volatility index. We were talking about that just before I came on. Just seems to be stuck somewhere, call it between 17 and a half, maybe 18 and a half. And yes, we do pop over that. We do pop under that, but it doesn't last. It seems like this is sort of the sweet spot of where we are. As a matter of fact, we had some great volumes yesterday. Volume about 35.3 million contracts yesterday. AMD, a huge part of that. We've been talking about some of those options in AMD, how they've just rolled and been right this entire run from under 93 all the way up to 122 yesterday. AMD's just been an absolute monster. What else is a monster? Just in terms of just sheer movement, how about Robinhood? Holy smokes, I think everybody was in for a really wild ride yesterday. 172 million shares. I'm going to be covering a lot about what's going on in the options in Robinhood, at least yesterday, and what we're seeing today when I'm on the halftime reports. You're going to want to tune in for that because some of these numbers are just absolutely outstanding, unbelievable. On IPO day, they traded 102 million contracts. Yesterday, 172 million contracts. And oh, by the way, pretty decent move to the upside as well. 323,000 options trading yesterday. In one specific strike, the August 70s, they traded 79,000 as the volume. And I'll touch on that as well at the halftime today about what does that really mean? Were they really positioning or were they just trading? I think you probably already know the answer to that. So yesterday, GM down about 9%. The world wanted to love it at 60. Hey, if you loved it at 60, you better love it at 53. Or were you jumping on that bandwagon way too late? That was a pretty interesting move from GM yesterday. We got Gap stores down about 8% as well. I mentioned AMD, which has been a monster. DocuSign. We haven't been talking about some of those names in a while, but DocuSign had a pretty interesting day. I thought that was worth pointing out. And then you look at Chevron and you look at Amgen. Those were the names that were definitely pulling in a big way on the Dow yesterday. They were definitely leading the way. So we get in today. We're still looking at jobs. We're still looking at earnings. And we're looking at a market that started off with a little bit of a boost to the upside, up about 50 points in the pre-market, up about 100 points on the open, up over 200 points early on. And we've been kind of staying within that range, up 150 to up, call it 190 on the Dow. Now, meanwhile, on the Nasdaq kind of struggling a little bit early, just kind of flatlining, very much like yesterday, but mostly in positive territory, up 15 points, up 30 points. Last I looked, we were up about 50 points plus on the Nasdaq, so it was starting to make a little bit of a move. And it was interesting because you're trying to find what are the stocks that are really moving the Nasdaq to the upside, because when I was looking at some of the tech area, well, it really wasn't all that strong. Semiconductors weren't all that strong, but a lot of these Chinese names and a lot of international names definitely positioning and causing the Nasdaq to have a little bit more of a move to the upside. I mentioned Bitcoin 38,000 to 40,000. Today we're back towards that 38,000. I look at the 10-year, it's trading right around or maybe even above 1.2. That's been big. That's been one of the the elements that pushes the financials to the upside frequently. We also have crude up just a little bit, and we've got that energy space up about 1.5%. We got materials participating, we got financials, as I say, participating as well. Now, next, some of those standouts for today. Moderna, once again, up about 4%. You've got cruise lines. I take a look over at CCL. That one's up a little over 3%, call it 3.25%. And those Chinese names are up and down and all around. NetEase is one of the names that I saw that was under some serious pressure today. That name was down about 5.5%. So there's some definite winners and some definite losers when we're looking across all the different scope of things, but certainly even within not just the US, but internationally as well. Robinhood, I just got to hit on this one more time because the stock is now under pressure today because of the fact that they were talking about stockholders are freeing up some stock to be able to sell at 97 million shares to sell. So that certainly affecting what's going on with that particular stock today, and definitely been under some pressure. But the numbers are just extraordinary, and I'll give you a lot more numbers when I get on that halftime report today as well. So two quick unusuals. They're going to be different at halftime, but two quick ones for right now. Walmart. I love seeing this because I've been talking about this with other people, and I love what's going on with Target. Walmart needed to pause and catch up. Walmart has paused. It's starting to catch up. Stock trading right around 144.70. We've got the 45, the 145s that expire tomorrow in play today. 5,000 of those bought, 25 cents up to about 60 cents. Very, very short move to the upside, and these options could start to move in a nice way as well. Nvidia is another one. Now, Nvidia we had on Tuesday. They were actually going out August 13th expiring. They were looking at the 205 strike. Now, stock's up above that level. It's at 206.50. So those 205s already in play, moving to the upside. But these now are the August 13th expiring once again. The 208s, and you take a look at those are going for 315 up to about 395. So a little bit more premium, but looking for even more upside as Nvidia has made this nice move. The day those options hit, the stock did pull back just a little bit. Got to be patient sometimes. And now the stock has made a pretty substantial move to the upside and trading, last I looked, it was trading up over 206, right around 206.50. Folks, understand what's going on in derivatives markets. It's where the growth is. We talk about it each and every day. And you want to talk about derivatives markets, that's the driver for Robinhood. Keep an eye on what I'm talking about. We'll talk more about that at the halftime report. Folks, have a great day of trading.